We aspire to make Amravati a true people's capital, a destination of opportunities and a city of the future. Chandrababu Naidu, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. On 2nd June 2014, Andhra Pradesh was split into two states, giving rise to the 29th state of India, Telangana. Why did this split happen? Let's just not go there like whole separate video. So now that the states were split in two, the then capital of Andhra Pradesh went to Telangana, which meant Andhra Pradesh needed a new capital. And that is when Chandrababu Naidu announced his plans to make a new city for Andhra Pradesh. He envisioned a city at par in infrastructure and beauty to that of Dubai and Singapore, with glittering corporate and government buildings overlooking the river, wide avenues, a golf course, high-rise residential complexes, and malls and casinos on the islands in the river. He envisioned the city of Amravati. Before we take a look at the city, let's take a look at the man behind it.
We are number one in giving incentives.
I am confident in future all vehicles will be electrical.
Nara Chandrababu Naidu is an Indian politician who has been the chief minister of the newly divided Andhra Pradesh since 2014. Previously, he served as the chief minister of the United State of Andhra Pradesh from 1994 to 2004. Now, building a city on the scale he proposes is a mammoth task. But is Mr. Naidu really the man for it? Well, he did prove himself once before. Under his leadership, Hyderabad became one of the biggest places for IT industries to flourish. His vision was to develop key sectors such as IT, biotech, and healthcare, and he succeeded to an amazing degree. Microsoft Corporation has established a software development center in Hyderabad, and it is the second such center outside of Seattle. Naidu encouraged other global IT companies like IBM, Dell, and Oracle to move to Hyderabad, making presentations to global CEOs and convincing them to invest in the city. So, when the state was divided, the man had a new task and a new vision. Taking such a huge step is never easy, and when completed, Amravati will be India's fifth planned capital after independence. But ever since the city was announced, there have been quite a few problems and controversies around it. Let me take you back to the beginning. Problem 1. When the state split and the city was declared, Chandrababu Naidu now needed a lot of capital to even get the designs for the new city made. Mr. Naidu reached out to the government of Singapore for help. Surbana International Consultants from Singapore agreed to assist Andhra Pradesh by developing 3 master plans for the city, and get this, free of cost. Next, he actually needed to buy the proposed land for the capital. The area selected for the city was the ancient town of Amravati. Yes, the city's name wasn't made up. There was no meeting of the council sitting like, "Aye, what do you think we should name our new city? How about we call it Banana? Huh? If Steve Jobs can call his company Apple, why can't we call our city Banana?" What was the name of the town that was already there? We'll call it that only. Amravati is a town with a history of at least 2300 years. From the Satavahanas in the 3rd century BC to the Mughal Empire in the 17th century, Amravati has lived through civilizations and cultures. And so this site was chosen to honor the town and to once again make it one of the most important in India. And here is where problem number 2 arose. A huge capital was needed to buy the land, which the government did not have. And then came along the land pooling scheme. Under this scheme, the farmers who owned their land in the would-be city of Amravati gave their land to the government in return for the promise of smaller but fully developed commercial and residential plots. For a 10-year period, the farmers who parted with their land will also be paid an annual compensation that would increase 10% of the original amount every year. Under this land pooling scheme, farmers have voluntarily offered about 90% of the 39,000 acres land required for Andhra Pradesh's new capital. So after the master plan was made and the land acquired, one of the biggest scandals for this 2B city happened, and this one exposed a lot of flaws in the governance and the management of this new city. Soon after the master plan was made, a competition was announced to design the government complex for Amaravati. 10 firms lined up for an opportunity to design the center, but the government, without much explanation, set them aside and invited 3 firms: Norman Foster, Rem Koolhaas, and Richard Rogers. Later, this was changed to 3 new contenders: Markey and Associates, Rogers Stick Harbour and Partners, and Vastu Shilpa Consultants led by B.V. Doshi. All 3 firms presented their proposals and Markey and Associates were chosen as the winner. The winning design was published out to the world, and that is when the problem started. When the design was made public, there was an online protest. People came out on the streets, there was violence, cars and buses burning, females have gathered all together, threatening to burn themselves. Wait. Oh no, all this was for a movie. Yeah, oh, okay, I'm being told for this city, people tweeted and like Instagrammed and Facebooked and YouTube comments. That one. A few protesters actually questioned why Indian designers were not included in the mix, while others just commented lol. The state government conveniently concluded that the problem was in style and not in substance, and directed the Japanese architects to modify the designs to incorporate local Indian influence. But then they also asked 7 other architects to design the same government complex. During the months that followed, Markey and Associates gave in to demands, made changes and revisions as asked for. And then all of a sudden, Andhra Pradesh government issued a termination notice to them. They cited problems like adverse public reaction, disproportionate fee and concerns towards executing the project in given time frame. In December 2016, the state appointed the UK-based Foster and Partners along with Hafiz Contractor as the new architects for the project. And to take it a step further, the government also wanted to model this new revision of the city on the lines of the fantasy city portrayed in the film Bahubali. And for that, they also tried to recruit the film director to advise on the city planning. He very gently and politely refused. At least somebody in this whole system had some sense. See, a lot of scandals were bound to hit this new city because, to be honest, it was done in such a haste. But at the end of the day, by jumping through all hurdles, or more like banging through each and every one of them, on 22nd October 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for this city. Now that we've talked about the stories and the scandals surrounding the city, let's take a closer look at the planning of this city. Set along the banks of the Krishna River, Amravati is planned to be an amalgamation of 9 different districts, which are the sports city, the government city, the finance city, the tourism city, the health city, the electronic city, the knowledge city, the justice city, and the media city. Why are they all called like cities when they're all in one city? It's like cityception. Before the master plan was even developed, a lot of cities were studied. For domestic case studies, the planners examined the city of Chandigarh, Jaipur, Naya Raipur, and Gandhinagar. To further set an international benchmark, the cities of Washington DC, Canberra, Brasilia, and Putrajaya were studied. After researching and analyzing all these cities, Amravati was designed on a rectangular grid. Based on principles of Vastu, the city has been formed as a cluster of townships. Let me simplify the planning for you. Now let's say the city is divided into blocks. These blocks are then divided into neighborhoods, which are further divided into modular cells. Each cell has a dimension of 500 meter by 500 meter and dedicated to house up to 4,500 housing units, creating a small community with greenery, playground, and vehicle-free community spaces. The cells are then incorporated into walkable neighborhoods of 15,000 to 30,000 population, with pedestrian-friendly local streets. Each neighborhood is supported by basic amenities such as kindergarten, park, and primary school located at walkable distances. The neighborhoods are then integrated into townships that accommodate 60,000 to 1 lakh residential population. Now, why do we need such a planning for our cities? In recent years, studying the biggest and the most populated cities of the world, we have come to understand that one of the biggest problems with cities is transportation. People travel for hours to work, children travel long distances to go to school, and families travel very far for recreation and leisure. The problem with this is not just that it takes a lot of time to travel, it increases personal vehicles on the road, which increases the city's congestion, and not to forget the environmental impact that it creates. Along with such long distances to travel, most of the open spaces of the biggest cities are just taken up by roads, leaving little to no space for free pedestrian movement, public plazas, or green spaces. Hence, this model provides people with recreation, jobs, and school in close proximity to their home, limiting the time and the fuel required, making the overall quality of life better. Quite close to Chandigarh in its design, the overall visual impact of the city seems to be inspired from cities like Singapore. Now, this was the overall planning of the city of Amravati. Let's look at some of the technological advancements that would make this city a smart city. Amravati is said to be a sustainable capital of Andhra Pradesh, aiming at a net zero waste. With 115 kilometers of public transport planned to cater 3.5 million residents by the year 2050, the city has been envisioned as a flood-resistant city with a net zero discharge. There will be pedestrian and cycle tracks connecting the entire city, and parks and public facilities within 10-minute walking distance. The government has also brought out solar power policy, giving a boost to the massive production of solar power in the state. A city spread across 217 square kilometers with a projected population of 3.1 million. Amravati is in no way a small feat. The construction of this new city is already underway, with the government complexes already shaping up. Only time will tell how much of the vision is Amravati able to achieve. And that was it for the story of Amravati. If you have any questions, comments or criticism about Amravati or this video, do let me know in the comments below. Till then, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, and please share this video. I will see you guys very soon with more such videos.